comes to like the marketing, one a
Yeah.
month marketing email, how, most of the time people are sending out like a newsletter or, some sort of, salesy sort of thing. How does that work?
You use the word new. I hate newsletters. Absolutely freaking hate newsletters. In fact, people send me newsletters like our accountant, will sends a newsletter. And the thing I hate about it is there's 10 different topics in it. Maybe well, I don't know what applies to me. Why are you sending me this newsletter? I said I'm supposed to sort through it and figure out why you sent it to me. It's just I don't want that. If you know me, if I'm a good client, you should understand. You and your database accountant should know what my interests are. What type of business am I or person? What issues might I have? What's good? What's bad? And if you're going to send me something, just pull out the one item from your thick newsletter that I'm supposed to invest my time. No, I'm trying to get free, but I think sending newsletters is disrespectful of your target's time. I hate them. You should. It's our job. It's the if it's our if you're writing like I write stuff. I think it's a writer's job to distill down the essence of hundreds of thousands of pages into something you can hand to somebody that they can use right away. So I'm not going to send you something so it's going to be short and sweet and as appropriate as I can make it for you. Uh, so that said, I don't send newsletters. I even said to the account, I even went on that little rant. I go, why are you doing that? And he looked at me like I had snakes crawling out of my eyes. Like, well, everybody gets a newsletter. Everybody sends them. No, you only send them because everybody else sends them, not because it's a good thing to do. It's just what everybody does. So you think that's the right thing to do, and you're providing information. You're not. You're wasting your client's time and if they want to. But most people don't even think about freedom. They don't think about time. They use their time poorly. So now they have to go home and miss their kid's soccer game because they're dragging work home. Or launch into schools too. Or schools do that too. Kids stand in line all day. They waste time, and then you go, "Oh, you got 3 hours of homework." It's like, you know what? You could have got that done during the day. So anyway, there's my time. Time is our most valuable asset, and we piss it away, and people drag it away. I we need to guard our time like it's the most valuable thing that we guard. Our time and health, right? Time and health, and those things that are really super important. But people don't seem not to think that far. So, but we do here, and so go look. We're not doing that to you. We're not going to do that to you. And I would hope that you don't do that to others. You know, if they're, what your target's interests are, most likely, at least as far as your conversation with them and your understanding about them. That's part of our job is to understand who they are, their motivations, what they want, get them what they want, quick and clean. So there's my rant about newsletters. As far as what we send them, we typically it's our industry related. People like stories, right? People like stories. So if we can tell a quick story, here's something that happened recently, or a deal that we did. If we did a deal and you're kind of in the same kind of industry, you're going to find that interesting. Oh, that's and then that way too, when my emails get to you every month, you're going to go, oh, I wonder what's in there, rather than going, ah, crap, another salesy,
Another
spammy,
newsletter.
stupid. God, I've been wanting to. I'm going to finally unsubscribe today. Another newsletter, another salesy piece. Now, maybe a little story. People love stories. So if you can make it a short story that comes to the point quickly, like this long. I remember years ago, I was writing something, or we hired somebody because to write some posts for us, and they go, well, what, they need to be 600 to 12, and I go, what, that's ridiculous. What it needs to be is as short as possible to make the greatest impact is what it really needs to be. Is how brief and brilliant can you make it? So again, you're saving the recipient's time and at the same time getting the message across. It's like micro stories, like what did I see? Hemingway wrote one. What did it say? Baby baby shoes for sale, never used. You know, it's So so how do
Says it
you
all,
do
doesn't it?
that in what you're doing? Yeah, yeah. It's a, your mind just conjured up a big story. So you can tell them, or that's Hemingway. That's pretty clever. I think about that one a lot, and I go, how would I do something like that? I go, I'm not, not that good, but I'm good. I'm good enough to tell a story. Here's something that happened the other day. And as long as that's somewhat applicable, and they go, yeah, that's interesting, or structured something a little differently than they, or
Or it can be
one that you just
progress.
did, and
It
they
can
go,
be what,
you know what, Ian does deals. Next
right.
time. Yeah,
Or
right.
progress. Like,
Without
what's going on?
bragging.
Oh, we're here. We're 60 days
Hey,
away.
we
Or
just hit another, what?
I think with what you've got going on, and you're trying to get this off the ground, where you're manufacturing, you know, you can do things to kind of create a little urgency too. Like, oh man, I better refer my guy in there right away because the window's closing. Try to create. I always like to try to create move forward kind of things where they want to act. Like, what can I do to prompt them
Hmm.
where they want to act? I always want them
Yeah.
to act. And you do split up your data. What we do here is we have different data. We have customer data, and then we have referrer data. What I send to the customer is going to be different. It's going to really promote action. It's getting them to maybe subscribe to other services that we have available to them. So depending on the time of year, we're in the credit card processing business or payment processing business. We may do something regarding gift cards, or we might do
Hmm.
something regarding new equipment, whatever it is, because we know the industry. But what we send to refer would be different, because they're not a client, so you got to kind of split it
Right.
up, and,
Yeah.
and make sure that you have, because that's all you work with, right? Clients and people who refer clients to you. It's two different beasts, if you
Hmm.
will, and they're not beasts; they're just two different things that you're dealing with. But I think I really like move forward things. If you're looking to get referrals, depending on your database, depending on what the industry is, depending on what it looks like, you know, promote whatever. Maybe you have a program. Maybe you have something that, hey, if you refer someone in, you get X or whatever. Then promote that. Promote action. Don't promote just sitting still, because that's what people will do is they'll sit still. You want movement. You want
Hmm.
things to happen.
One of the things we might, like, if we're going to send an email out to refer, and we may tell them something like, here's one of the things that we're telling our clients, so because these refers want, typically, or often, a referrer has the same customer they have the same client that they sent to us is their
Hmm.
client. So we
Hmm.
share the client. So they have the client's best interest in mind. So we might say, hey, here's what we're doing for them. So they go, oh, that's cool.
Hmm.
That's interesting. It's good to know. That they're doing that. It's nice to know, or that kind of thing. And that too can come up in a cocktail party where something comes up. The weird conversations come up. Or one unexpected conversation and weird conversation. But yeah, we might use that same body. It just depends what's going on. Like, hey, if you have other clients, because like when Chuck was saying we want action to happen, well, we'd like them to send us more business. So if they know what we're doing, hey, we're contacting our clients because this at the end of the year, this equipment is, and there's a handful of things that are just going to change. And and a lot of people, a lot of clients don't know, or a lot of merchants in our case don't know about it. All of ours do, but a lot of our competitions don't. So if you might want to help your people be aware, and so that might
Hmm.
prompt them to go, you know what, these guys are pretty proactive, and then
Hmm.
so it's just whether they send us somebody now, or something comes up, they go, these guys are on the ball, they seem to be on the ball. Hey, you might want to give them a jingle.
Hmm.
So that way, there again, you can use the same. You don't have to create a totally different message. It's a different spin on the
Hmm.
same message. We call them semi-custom messages here. It's just semi-custom. We just adapt it the beginning and the end
Right.
to the target, but the information is often the same. Where it changes. Sometimes you work with totally different. Like we work with some nonprofits, and that they will refer business to us. They can be our clients. They also can refer business because they've got supporters. And we have this thing called the give back, where if they refer one of their supporters over and we sign them up, then part of the fee that merchants pay to process cards, we give back to the nonprofit.
Hmm.
So, going to a nonprofit might be a little bit different spin, but there are very few outside. There are very few situations where you can't use the body of the
Hmm.
message to send to most everybody. Saves a lot of time, and it's not it's not a big advertising message. It's like we talked about. It's a story, or here's what's going on, or a deal that happened, or something that we just saw out there. Here's an interesting observation. Da 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 da. You know, saw this and thought of you.
Hmm.
That's one that we use a lot. Hey, saw this and I thought of you, and they go, oh wow, that was nice of them to think of me and send this out. And so you see, back to your question about newsletters, you can see why we don't send them, because it's different. You know, it's a different thing when you get one of our messages and it's a story, or it's something that we're doing, or it's something that's simpler on the brain, and we're not
Hmm.
making them sort through a newsletter that then most of the stuff doesn't apply, or some of it, sometimes none of it applies.
Hmm.
It's not even interesting. It's just confusing. The other way, our way is, we believe, is simpler, keeps us on their mind in a positive way.